Well, I have not dwelled on that because I can't control a lot of those things, and I'm not involved in a lot of those things. The things that I'm involved in is to make sure that we as a football team, staff, all of us, everybody that deals with that football team have a good feeling about each other and make sure we do our own job.
Right now, the Lions are 2 points ahead of the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL West. This obviously a key game late in the season on CFN. The Canadian Football Network. Today's game from McMahon Stadium in Calgary is brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Breweries. The CFL is the game around here. The BC Lions are tied for first in the West with Edmonton, but probably not for long because the Eskimos playing at home today in the third quarter lead the East Division leading Winnipeg Blue Bombers 39-17. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Canadian Football Network. From Calgary, I'm Dave Hodge with Neil Lumsden. The Lions have had a season that they'll never forget. They've had pay cuts that were discussed more than the Meech Lake Accords and finally were shelved. They've had a coach fired, and now they've got the government as a partner. I suppose football almost seems incidental, but obviously that can't remain.
Well, I think it has been secondary in the past, and it's shown in their performance on the field. As players like to put that stuff behind them. I mean, they're there for one reason, to win some football games. That's their business. They want to do it well, and I think this is a key game for them. They have to put all that stuff behind them, show that they are a good football team. They legitimately want a shot at first place. They're going to have to win today if they want it.
You've heard it. It does no good to change coaches in the middle of a season. But here is the best example of what can happen positively. The Stampeders amazing since Larry Kuharich took over from Bob Vespasiani.
Well, there's a good example of just general improvement. Points for, better defense. But as you look at it, Coach Q always talks about the offense and defensive lines. There's the key right there. Both of the lines are playing better. Offensive line has come together. A couple different people. That's the difference. The ratio, -26. That's embarrassing. They've brought that back. But the key coming up, the wins. 6-1. That's great.
The Stampeders are in the playoffs. Larry Kuharich said that was his first priority. Now they would like to have a playoff game here at McMahon Stadium. And a win today would certainly help in that regard. Quarterback Roy DeWalt had to watch the last game between these teams. He gets to play in this one, and he'll have a new running back behind him. Freddie Sims replaces Anthony Parker. The wide receivers are the same. Byron Williams and Jim Sandusky outside. John Pankratz and Jan Carinci inside. There's a new offensive lineman, and he is a second import on that line. Tim Burnham plays left guard. Import right guard Dan Hurley returns as well. For the Calgary Stampeders, it's Rick Warman at quarterback, Gary Allen and Andy McVeigh. Tim Petros will see action as well. Larry Willis and Emmanuel Tolbert on the strong side, and yes, it is strong. Jay Christensen and Tony Pearson on the other side for the Calgary Stampeders. And they have two import offensive linemen, Lee Spivey at left tackle, Donovan Fan at right guard. As you can see, the BC Lions will be kicking off to start this game. The Stampeders have Ron Hopkins and Andy McVeigh deep. The Calgary team on the move, trying to finish higher than the third place in which they currently sit. They can go all the way to first, but you get the impression they would be quite happy in second place. Let's see what the Stampeders do against the Lions at McMahon Stadium as Ron Hopkins is taken down at about the 32-yard line to get this game underway.
Well, Kuharich's preparation when he came in as head coach was very structured, and their goals were very structured. Look, the first thing he says, we want to make the playoffs. They have done that now. Now it's get second place, and I don't think first place is certainly out of their mind, but he is taking it one step at a time.
Rick Warman had a big game 2 weeks ago against the Lions. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He ran for 2 touchdowns.
Come on, Dave.
First down Calgary from the 33-yard line, and they begin with 3 backs and move 1 out of there, but too late does this movement occur. Stampeders will be penalized 5 yards right off the bat.
Interesting way to start the game. Time count violation. First series, first play.
Well, it's nothing but sloppiness. You should know which play you want to call the first time you get the ball. And now they will call it in plenty of time. On the ground, Gary Allen, and he doesn't get much. They say that in Calgary, the weather can change in 5 or 10 minutes. Well, if you wait a couple hours, you can get to a different season. At noon, it was 17 degrees. Half an hour later, in less than 30 minutes, it had dropped 7 degrees down to 10.
Don't forget to visit the
and now it is a full 10 degrees colder than it was 2 hours before game time. But the wind is still blowing, and the rain has started to fall. What we're saying is we've gone from a very nice day to one that has the potential to be very bad. Well, that's good for the Stampeders. Diving catch by Marshall Toner over the middle. However, it is not good enough for a first down.
Toner's had some hamstring problems earlier on this year. By the way, he stretched out for this ball. Warman leading him right in the seam there. I don't think that hamstring is still bothering him.
3rd down and 4.
Glenn Harper will punt the ball, and he is kicking into the strong wind. Up there nice and high. Larry Crawford, always dangerous. And that's how he usually does it, running wide to get back to the 40-yard line. We should tell you that as we watch Crawford, who has 3 punt return touchdowns this season, Gizmo Williams in Edmonton has returned another one today from his end zone to the Winnipeg end zone. Probably it'll be 111 yards when they list it officially, his 5th of the season.
Incredible. Both Crawford and the Gizmo have that knack, the knack necessary to get to the area where they're blocking and setting up a return.
We hope to show you highlights of the Winnipeg-Edmonton game at halftime of this game. The Lions start with a new running back, Freddie Sims. And Freddie Sims is hit down, lost the ball. The Stampeders think it's theirs, but no sign yet from Ross Perrier, the referee.
Well, they wanted to start running the football. They felt they had to get Calgary off the quarterback's back, and by doing that is good transition in an offense. That's not a good way to start. You got to hang on to the football.
2nd and 7.
It still belongs to the Lions. Freddie Sims played last for the Lions in the 1985 Grey Cup. DeWalt sidelines, and Ron Hopkins
DeWalt complete to Jim Sandusky.
Takes Sandusky out of bounds.
12 yards.
As the game progresses, coaching on the sidelines, you know,
First down line.
you can't do that with every football team, but if you've got good communication throughout the week, you know what you're talking about. The veteran football players, they can make the changes, the transition throughout the game.
First down Lions from midfield. DeWalt to Sandusky for the first down of this game. Ray Krause takes the handoff. Seemed to have some room, but it throws rapidly, and the Stampeders pursued to the ball nicely. Middle linebacker Bernie Morrison is the leading tackler on this team.
As you said, it looked like they had an opening right there for Krause, but closed up quickly. This is what the defense of the Stampeders have been doing very well, led by Bernie Morrison in the middle. Moving in quickly. There might be a gap, but it won't stay open very long. You've got to get your yardage early. This defense has become so much more aggressive than they were in the past.
2nd and 9 Lions from the Calgary 54. DeWalt has lots of time, and probably because of a holding penalty, he has that kind of time. Finally goes down back at his 50-yard line. Ian Sinkler, the center, is called for holding. Stampeders decline the penalty, and Louis Pasaglia will kick with the wind.
Looks like DeWalt had some time, but when he was forced out of the pocket, that disciplined rush of the Stampeders closed in on him very quickly.
3rd and 15, BC.
High and deep, forcing Richie Hall back inside his 5-yard line. He broke one tackle, but he's not big enough to carry those other tacklers on his back very long, and so the Stampeders are inside their 10. It's Calgary ball, first down at the Stampeder 9-yard line. No score. Played just over 4 minutes in this first quarter as the Stampeders try to beat the Lions for the second straight meeting. The Lions looking for revenge. Good quick hitter to the 16-yard line as Tim Petros runs, and we'll probably see 3 and maybe even 4 running backs going in and out of that Calgary backfield today.
And the reason is because they've got Andy McVeigh. He lines up and has at fullback when Petros was injured with that sore right knee. As you can see, he pops up quickly, has had great success running against the Lions this year, but McVeigh is also very good catching the football. They can line him up in the backfield and motion him out and really act as a slot back.
They give him 6 yards, putting the ball down at the 15. That makes it 2nd down and 4, and the Stampeders will run for the first down.
Good enough for first
Gary
down.
Allen takes the handoff from Rick Warman. The Stampeders are the top rushing team in the league, and the BC Lions want to run more themselves. That's one of the reasons Freddie Sims is in there. They feel he's healthier at this point than Anthony Parker.
Well, it is so important. Good running game, and a team that has a pretty good running game and obviously worked was the Eskimos, 46-17 in the 4th quarter at Commonwealth Stadium.
The leading individual rusher in the league, Willard Reeves, is not playing for Winnipeg today, and that might have something to do with the Blue Bombers being blasted by the Eskimos.
Brought down to the backfield.
Well, Brett Williams gets through a crease there, makes the hit in the backfield. The BC Lions defense realizes they have to take the run away from the Calgary Stampeders early. Really take it out of their game plan. Then their defense can perform like they have earlier on in the season. Put the ears back and get after the quarterback.
Princess Park Avenue limousine and tickets for 2 to the 107 Encounter breakfast.
Loss of 2 on that play, so it is 2nd down and 12 from the 18. They stay on the ground with Allen. And he busts the tackle to the 35. He had the first down made, but kept on charging and got 5 extra yards with good second effort.
Well, that type of a change-up play will drive defenses crazy. I'm sure they felt in the formation that the Lions saw here, Calgary was going to throw the football. You can see everybody dropping back. They felt pass. Good play by Allen, going right up the middle where all the traffic is, gets him a first down.
Larry Donovan said when we play teams that run against us, and it didn't used to happen to the Lions, we realize how effective a balanced attack is. So our experiences on defense tell us that on offense, we have to be able to do what the opponents are doing to us, and that is run the ball, and the Stampeders have done it pretty effectively to BC so far.
And they've done it to a lot of other teams, and that might be the difference as we look at middle linebacker Bernie Gleer down, which might bring on John Ulmer, who's back in the lineup. He's played middle for them this year.
Fan and a Twins fan and an Allison fan, was that it?
And the Big G, combination of things.
There's a Big G, Bernie Gleer, who gets up now and will be helped off. The Lions, of course, had a lot of controversy earlier in the season when Bernie Gleer took over as middle linebacker for veteran Ty Cruz, who has been asked to come back to training camp next year and try to resume his CFL career. Meanwhile, if the Lions need help at middle linebacker, there is always the possibility that Greg Stuman, who is the leading sacker on the team, and in fact in the league entering this week, could go back from defensive end to linebacker. That would be easier if James Quick Parker could return this season. And there is that possibility. 36-yard line, Calgary territory, first down Stampeders. After running effectively, they throw a screen. Allen again goes to the middle of the field, used his blockers, the ones he could find, very effectively, because that play didn't seem to be going very far, and he kept going to the outside.
Well, you take a chance when you bring a play back inside like that, but I think he has confidence in his offensive line and his other running back that when the ball's released outside, they will get their fannies downfield and throw some blocks for him. Because the pursuit, if he can cut back, get a couple of blocks as he does there, he can make some yards.
43-yard line, gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. Again, it's Allen, and he will be stopped short.
Allen on the carry.
John Ulmer, the new middle linebacker, in there to help, along with Kevin Koner. There's other Lions underneath that pile.
Well, you bring up a good point of James Parker, who looks like he's ready to return or getting closer. Jamie Terrace, another one 1 inch away from being healthy. Puts him in a nice dilemma, I guess, on defense. Stuman's had a great year, comes into this game with 21 sacks. James Quick Parker, I don't know if there are too many players that have his ability. And then the front four, they've all been playing well. So interesting situation that they'll have to deal with maybe in the playoffs.
The well-spoken Larry Donovan said for James Quick Parker that final inch will be a mile. Parker perhaps more confident than anybody else that he will be back this season. Harper's punt gets carried to the sidelines by the wind. The bounce takes it farther. Crawford hasn't picked it up yet. I don't believe he touched it the first time. And even if he did, I think no yards would probably be the call. The Stampeders rushed, of course, to the ball as Crawford was uncertain, but it will probably come out okay for the BC Lions. No score yet on a windy, sometimes sunny, and for the rest of the day, cold afternoon. Here's Melvin Bird following that last play. Neil, here's Melvin Bird during that last play.
Well, heads-up play. Harper makes a poor punt. Bird realizes he can come up and recover the football, and then quite rudely puts Harper onto the ground.
It's like a Bird, Melvin, in this case, hitting your windshield. After the no yards call, the Lions run the ball near the 45, and Freddie Sims is going to get some work, I guess.
Well, he wants that work. This Larry Donovan said this is his opportunity to show that he can play some football. He's been in the BC Lion camp for 2 months, so he knows the system.
Second down, about 4, short roll, look back the other way. DeWalt fires into traffic and makes the completion to John Pankratz. That seemed a dangerous pass, but it left his 40-yard line. His hand.
Well, they're in that hurry-up offense, trying to get as much out of this quarter as they possibly can and possibly throw the Calgary defense off. Not let them get any extra people in or make their calls.
Sims could not get away at the line from Stu Laird.
Sims tripped up by Stu Laird.
Bernie Glier out of the lineup right now with a bruised shoulder, but he'll be back in when the defense takes the field.
Lions haven't scored with the wind, want to score with the wind, and so they're going without huddles. DeWalt pumps once, and that's an interference call from the far side of the field. It had to come, but there was no doubt that Freddie Sims was thrown to the ground well before the ball got there.
Flag down.
Interference, Calgary number 38, first down.
Bruce Green playing that outside linebacking spot, moves in a little bit too quickly, make the hit. He's a big impact player, done very well for Calgary on special teams and on defense after coming over from playing a while in Edmonton, but right here his timing is just a bit off.
Sims runs to daylight, and he's at the 20-yard line to the 17, a big gain on first down for Freddie Sims, who gained close to 100 yards when the Lions won the '85 Grey Cup and has played just one CFL game since then.
A native of Tucson, Arizona, has been looking forward to this game or the opportunity to run with the football again. That type of enthusiasm can pick up a whole offense.
To the end zone, and it is nowhere near Jim Sandusky or Ron Hopkins, the defender. Second down.
Good job of defense. Hopkins keeping Sandusky to the outside so the ball couldn't be thrown in where he could make an adjustment. Larry Donovan said last week Roy DeWalt looked as good as he's ever seen him. Sat back in the pocket and really controlled the offense. Earlier on in the year, DeWalt would nickel and dime defenses, and though they didn't score a lot of points, they controlled the football. They want to start doing that again.
Second and 10, BC from Calgary's 18-yard line. On the draw. You don't expect second and 10 running play for the BC Lions, but that's something that Donovan wants to change. He wants to keep the run as a threat. Sims got yardage, but not enough.
Larry Donovan told us that he was talking to Roy DeWalt last week during the game, suggesting to him maybe run a couple of draws in second and long situations to throw the Hamilton defense off. So they ran it on a second and 17 and ripped off 22 yards. I don't know if he thought the timing was right, but it was a successful play.
Louis Fasaglia has made 43 field goals this season, and for much of this season he was so far the leader in the CFL that wasn't anybody close to him. Now he needs this one to tie Dave Ridgway for the league lead. We have 44 field goals, and we have the first points of this game for the BC Lions. It's now official. This game is between the second-place Lions and the third-place Stampeders because first place belongs to the Edmonton Eskimos. 49-24 over Winnipeg. And next Sunday we see BC Lions at Edmonton. These late season games in the West, very important with the standings as close as they are. Stampeders from the 50 have a receiver open, but he couldn't hold the ball. Tolbert, who drops his share, couldn't get that one. It wasn't a perfect pass, though, by any means.
No, and he really had to put it in the right spot. Crossing patterns, lots of action with linebackers following the running backs and inside receivers. That's a tough pattern and pass to complete under those situations. I think you want to open that middle up a little bit more, get your backs to the outside, get the linebackers to go to the outside.
2nd and 10 Stampeders from the 50. Warman is rushed. Can he get 10 yards by running? He does good running to the 40-yard line, and he looks to have the first down just inside the BC 40.
Well, if anybody had ever wondered when Rick Johnson went down whether Rick Warman could take charge of this offense, being the quiet sort that he is, all the questions will have been answered. Pretty good job of protection. He gets out of there after some pressure gets to him, gets up the field, and just enough for a first down.
But a good move on John Ulmer. That's what made the first down. From the 39 of the Lions, first down, Stampeders. Warman throws. There was contact with the receiver. The question when, and the Lions are not penalized. The fans don't like it, though, as Larry Willis was bumped. Hit rather hard, as this picture shows you. Let's try to see.
Well, the always aggressive Andre Francis. You see Willis go to the outside, delay, let somebody come across his face. Hopefully Francis will come across and take the bite as far as the people going upfield. He was in his back pocket all the way, and it was a very close call.
No call, as it turns out. 2nd down and 10 from the Lions 39. Stampeders still looking for their first points of this game. That was knocked away. Crawford doing a good job. The pressure on Warman is really helping the secondary people from BC, but they're doing a great job of coverage regardless.
Oh, they certainly are, Dave. And even though Warman moves out of the pocket, trying to place himself on the field in different positions so they can't quite get a beat on him, they're still doing a good job of moving away from the offensive line blocks and pursuing whatever angle he takes. And as you said, the secondary is doing a great job in coverage.
J.T. Hay doesn't necessarily need a lot of help from the wind to make a 46-yard field goal. He will have it, though. The shutout is broken. The Stampeders are on the scoreboard. They trail by 2 in a low-scoring defensive battle here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary.
Interesting, before that kick took place, Bird's going back, wondering and looking at the sidelines and trying to get either a call from the coach. Should I give up a point or should I try to bring it out if Hay misses it? Obviously very conscious of the shutout and wanting to keep that shutout, but a few seconds later, J.T. Hay just took any option away from him and put it through for 3.
Almost 4 minutes left in this second quarter, so the Stampeders try to take maximum advantage of the win neither team has, though, yet. Lions got 4 points with it. Calgary now has 3 points with it. Walt throws, coming back to the ball for the catch is Byron Williams.
Roy DeWalt complete to Byron Williams.
Nice touch of, or catching ability by Williams. Here's Roy DeWalt, gets a chance to stand right back there, plant those feet, throw the ball over the shoulder. Strong arm. When he gets a chance to set up and has time to throw the football, there aren't too many any better than Roy DeWalt.
From the 43, 2nd down and 2. Sims gets the handoff, and that time there was penetration. Lamont Jeffers for Calgary prevents the first down. And perhaps the Lions were a bit comfortable with a run, and that particular run on that play, so they'll be punting into the wind. Under the dome or here at home, look out Lions, here we come. Now here comes a punt by Louis Pasaglia from his 29-yard line. penalty and do a good job of keeping the punt return to an absolute minimum. We'll say that they didn't really return it at all. Richie Hall tackled as he stood, and it is a 34-yard Bisaglia punt.
The punt return team really has to be aware in situations like that when the ball will be kicked low that they don't get hit by the ball from behind. It tips a heel or something. They won't even feel it when it happens, so they've got to be very careful in those situations.
Calgary attack has been shut down today after scoring 34 points the last time the Stamps met the Lions. Warman to the sidelines, and once again the receiver had to try to make a catch with a defensive back hanging right on him. Andre Francis on Larry Willis.
Andre Francis, the fastest man on the BC Lion team, and he needs all that speed to be able to come out of a back pedal, but not even move. Didn't even bite on any of the moves, and he's just all over Willis. That's just good coverage.
Seemed as though that ball might have been thrown a little late. Willis had made his cut and was waiting for the pass a long time. It had been there right when he made the cut. He'd probably have caught it. Deep for Christensen, and they step in front of him and give him a wrap at the same time.
Jay Christensen, the intended receiver, the pass.
Rick Klassen giving the high five. I'm surprised he can even give the high five. He's playing with torn rib cage muscles, and that's going to be painful. Didn't stop him there.
Well, Warman is throwing the ball to the receivers, but the receivers are just so well covered by the Lions today that Rick Warman is not having much success through the air. Glenn Harper to punt with the wind. 2.5 minutes left. Sailing punt. Crawford doesn't have to move to catch it. Now he tries to move to run with it, and he is taken down on a good play by Matt Finley.
48 yards on the football. Glenn Harper.
Great pressure on Harper. BC Lions send 11 man, 1 man back. Larry Crawford. Punt's gone, no one close. And then that's just a great job of acting, that is.
As if shot by a gun in a Western, Glenn Harper folded to the field.
Rick Klassen, one of the better defensive tackles in the league, always comes at you and always makes some great plays.
The Walt's pass is completed. Freddie Sims hit by Richie Hall. A classic ankle tackle.
Well, Sims looking back at the quarterback. You'll see him come right through the middle there. Just sneaks out. The coverage man backs off him a little bit, then pursues, but good job of coming up by Hall. And I just cringe when I see somebody go low like that and take a shot in the knees.
Freddie Sims has been a big part of the BC offense today. Second down and about 7 for the Lions. DeWalt throws on the run. Good catch. Diving for the first down was Jan Carinci. Did he make it?
DeWalt complete to Jan Carinci.
He did.
Larry Hogue on the tackle.
Knowing where you have to go is so important. It's a conference call going on the Stampeders sidelines.
For BC.
Bob Poley on the left, and that's
What did Toshi get this left? Williams came out
the line, 41.
Oh, Palumbo. He's backing up. Mike Palumbo.
Lions for the 41. DeWalt, as the flag comes down, has Pankratz wide open near midfield.
Has to play to Pankratz. There's a flag down low.
Holding. BC number 66. First down repeated.
Left tackle Jim Mills called for holding, and the Lions will turn and walk back 10 yards for this huddle.
Mills from Richmond, BC, is involved in a family business back in Vancouver. Mills paints, which appropriately so. He's played well this year. Had to play a few games at right tackle, but he is primary left tackle and is really one of the anchors of that offensive line this year.
Stampeders were yelling, draw, draw, as if they had picked up some kind of a signal or a formation, and indeed, that's what it was.
Well, you do your homework, you watch enough film on each team week in and week out, and when you end up playing a team 3 or 4 times, there are some tendencies, and the tendency might have been the way Krause had lined up, not going in a three-point stance. Defensive players are taught to look at the little things, the subtleties that might give it away. So it makes guys like Bernie Morrison so valuable in the defense, because they can pick up those tendencies.
Second down, they need 18 yards for a first down. That was thrown over the head of Ray Krause, and the Stampeders will get the ball back. They've still got a timeout they can call. 1:06 remaining right now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the Lions come up with a punt formation where they put a man on side, or they'll just try to kick it downfield, get good coverage. Stampeders have 2 men back, so it looks like they might be setting up a return.
A field goal would give Calgary the lead at halftime. We might say that the wind appears not to be as strong as it was earlier. Pasaglia just proves that by driving a punt deep for Gary Allen. Well, it almost cracked a big return. He got to the 36-yard line. So maybe the wind has ceased to be the factor it was when the game started. A 49-yard punt by Pasaglia, an 8-yard return by Allen.
It really is amazing how in the last 10 minutes the wind has just dropped right down. The flags on the top of the uprights and the goalposts are just hanging.
That much time remaining for the Calgary Stampeders to try to go into the lead at halftime. Colbert catches one, goes out at the 44. He's a couple of yards short of a first down. Obviously, the clock stops with that catch. 52 seconds left now.
Interesting to listen to Kuhar talk about Emmanuel Tolbert, very important part of this offense, but he says, you know, if Tolbert drops the ball once, it doesn't matter, we'll go back to him. That's just the way he goes sometimes.
It's like feeding a baby. Some will get in the mouth, and you're going to lose some, but it doesn't mean you stop doing it. Jim Petros made a catch of a short pass for the first down.
Glenn Jackson on the stop after a gain of 4 and a first down.
Now you see the Stampeders get on the ball, call the play from the line of scrimmage.
Down at the 49.
Foreman goes down the middle, and Tolbert caught that one.
Good catch by Emmanuel Tolbert.
23-yard.
Throws the ball over the middle. Tolbert has to make an adjustment, slow down, look back for the ball, but this hit right here twists. Williams falls on the right leg of Warman.
Slight limp for Warman as he went to the ball. Now he has to back up, throw to the sidelines. That's a good pass and catch. Still on his feet is Tony Pearson. Inside the 20.
Well, I like that little move by Warman. He feels pressure coming up the inside of the pass rush lane, and instead of running, he just does a nice little back pedal. But the key is he never stops looking downfield. You'll see the pressure here. Now let's get out of it. But he's still looking downfield. That's why he's able to see Tony Pearson.
When the drive started, the Stampeders were thinking 3 points. Now they can try for 7. 26 seconds left. They're 19 yards away from the end zone. Warman, a little toss over the middle that Tolbert couldn't get to. And now you see the limp is pronounced.
Yeah, it looks like when Williams fell on that right leg, twisting the knee. It's the type of thing you've just got to try to keep it warm, keep moving. You'll worry about it after the game's over. Get some ice on it then, but right now just keep the mobility in it.
Clock stopped with the incompletion at 23 seconds, 2nd and 10 from the BC 19. Rushed, and that left leg doesn't help him here as he continues to go backwards and finally gets hauled down.
Warman sacked by Bird back at the 35-yard line.
Well, they've retreated just about as quickly as they move the ball downfield. You can see Warman again limping as he's walking around taking off Bob Poley's glove so he can snap the football. It's got to be a concern for Coach Kuharek.
The backup is Carl Folder, and that man with the headset beside Larry Kuharek. Rick Johnson, of course, has been, well, he's been first string, second string, and third string all in one season, I guess, and now injured and not playing at all. 43-yard attempt by Hay to give Calgary a 1-point lead is good. And thus ends the first half. The Stampeders took a while to score and took till the final play to take the lead, but they do have it at halftime. We're playing it one game at a time.
Didn't they say that?
That's the first cliche in his CFL head coaching career then that I've heard anyway. Flag comes down on the kickoff return. Melvin Bird still on his feet, slams the ball to the ground in disgust.
59 yards.
So it was a good return, but maybe he's upset that the flag was thrown.
Bird gets 31 on the return, but there is a flag now.
He should be. It's against the Lions.
Yeah, you never like to see a good play erased. So you've got to understand these guys are trying to block for him. They'll start back in their own 25-yard line, the BC Lions, with Roy DeWalt at quarterback, with an offensive line that's undergone some changes this year, and left guard Tim Berman, left tackle Jim Mills, Ian Sinclair, really the only constant at offensive line for them. He hasn't been hurt. Dan Hurley's back from missing 2 games with a jammed neck. John Blaine, Big John Blaine at right tackle.
The Lions have the wind, what's left of it. Well, all sorts of time to throw, and he pumps one in there for a gain of 7 or 8 yards. Receiving was John Pancratz.
8-yard gain up to the 33.
Watch Roy DeWalt get rid of the ball late or just about when he's sacked. You know, it's interesting how quarterbacks can contribute or help take away from sacks. Because if he hangs on and doesn't know that Pancratz is coming across the middle, that's a sack. He knows where his second and third receivers are going. He can release the ball to them, thus not losing any yardage and not giving his offensive line a sack.
2nd and 2 Lions. And they make the first down with Freddie Sims once again.
Well, Sims has been impressive today. He's taking Anthony Parker's place, who's a little bit nicked and deserved a rest. He just gets those shoulders square, gets up, good forward lean. It's tough to knock a man down or stop him cold if he has his momentum going straight ahead and his shoulders and helmet are down.
Richie, what's the Tiger?
Lions first down at their 40. Good catch. Reversing his position. Catching the ball behind him, Jan Carinci at midfield.
Carinci makes a great adjustment. Roy DeWalt seems to be throwing the ball on his back foot, leaning back as he does here. Doesn't seem to, well, looked like a pretty good follow through at that time, but Carinci makes the adjustment and coverage by Richie Hall. An important factor for their offense to have those inside receivers catch the football, Carinci and John Pancratz.
Another solid toss by DeWalt. Pass not fluttering at all, right to the arms of Jan Carinci, close to another first down.
Carinci can work that middle as well as any inside receiver in the league. It's the experience that really helps out. Don't have to have great speed, but you know where to settle. You see the linebacker just crosses his face. He curls around behind him. DeWalt knows where he's going to be when it's time to throw the football.
Not quite enough for the first down. The Lions will have second down at very short yardage, so they might want to toss something fancy here. No, they run straight ahead with Sims, and look at him bounce those tacklers back on their heels and keep driving himself. Freddie Sims has been a key man for the BC Lions today. He rushed for 54 yards in the first half.
Well, many situations in short yardage, if you can get by that first wave right there, there's not going to be anyone to tackle except for one defensive back. If he had gotten through clean, it would have been an interesting one-on-one situation.
Sims outrushed Gary Allen almost 2-to-1 in the first half, and now it is to that ratio, and he's carried the ball more than twice as often as Allen. There's a low pass that is incomplete. A flag comes down. Had nothing to do with the receiver, Byron Williams, I don't think.
There is a flag down.
Calgary's called for offside. Williams delayed a bit coming off the ball. Let Carinci clear for him. It might be a time that the Stampeders are getting a little antsy on defense. They want to be able to stop this drive, get their offense back on the field.
In the Stampeder
well, the use of Freddie Sims is proving Larry Donovan's theory that some running sure makes it more difficult for the opposing defense to figure out what you're doing and to stop it. They stopped that run by Ray Krause.
Tripped up by David McCrary.
You know, Dave, it's not so much figure out what they're doing on offense, but when you can run the football effectively, you take away some of the aggressiveness of the defense. They can't react as quickly, moving up the field as quickly. They have to almost come off the ball and settle for a second. Take a look what's happening, then react. When you get a defense doing that, you're really controlling them.
Second down and 3 from the Calgary 31. Sims. First down again. Freddie Sims could have a 100-yard game today if he carries on at this rate.
Freddie Sims.
Well, he's just going straight away. He's making it tough for people to tackle. David McCrary comes up and makes the final hit on him and gets hurt on this play. The right shoulder sticks in the thigh.
Stampeder 25-yard line.
Freddie Sims tough to bring down. He's got not real big in size, 5'10", 205, 210 pounds from Oklahoma, but that low center of gravity is, as David McCrary found out, is tough to stop cold.
We asked Larry Donovan what the difference in the BC Lions might be with Larry Donovan as head coach as compared to Don Matthews. And Larry, of course, formerly an assistant coach, said a lot more of the ideas expressed by the assistant coaches before are actually being used now. He said it was always popular to express ideas earlier in the season, but they weren't always used. And I suppose it's understandable that a guy who has been an assistant coach for these people is a little more anxious to take their ideas and try them out.
Well, sure, he was one of the people that probably had some good ideas that he want implemented, but the head coach has the final say.
Wall over the middle, Sims, and he sure has broken tackles like that all day, and this one gets him a touchdown. The first one of the ball game, and there's Larry Donovan's reaction as BC goes back into the lead.
Larry Donovan giving a, yeah, let's keep putting it in the end zone. Again, Sims comes out of the backfield late and just drags across the middle. Watch number 2, step to the right. No one comes, no one for him to block. Now he comes out late. Bernie Morrison caught sitting and watching. Now it's to the corner. Good block by Carinci. Kind of subtle, just sneaks out there, knows he's responsible for the linebacker, and if he doesn't come, he gets him into the pattern. Utilizing your running backs if they don't have to pick up a linebacker can be so effective.
The first touchdown of the game puts BC in front, 12-6.
Stampeders 6.
It was a 9-play, 85-yard drive that ended in Freddie Sims' touchdown. Short pass and mostly run, 25 yards with quarterback Roy DeWalt. 12-6 BC as Louis Pasaglia kicks off. Here's Ron Hopkins busting through the initial tacklers, and Louis Pasaglia was back there, the last man for BC. The second last man got Hopkins as he rushed it to the 45.
Return. Andre Francis on the tackle. Stamps first and 10.
And that will spoil an excellent return by Ron Hopkins, an illegal block. Absent from the British Columbia Lions radio broadcast booth today is color commentator Tom Larscheid. We extend sympathies to Tom and other members of his family on behalf of all his friends across the Canadian Football League on the passing of Tom Larscheid's wife, VR.
These Ziffel, all winners.
Rick Warman falls down as he looked for a pass receiver. We don't know whether that left leg continues to bother him, but the way he got up, it appears that that's so, and I guess the way he went down is further evidence.
Well, when you've got a sore leg, you're not going to pick it up and put it down as well as you normally would. And you see right there, he's ready to bring that right foot back after backpedaling and plant it, and that toe drags. So that knee isn't working 100% because it's not picking the foot up. Little reverse, and Mel Bird was waiting for it.
He was not fooled a bit. They handed it to Gary Allen. I guess that used to be called the Statue of Liberty, didn't it?
Well, that play was looking pretty good because Walter Ballard, the defensive end on that side, comes down very hard. Right there, 79. He's inside. Petros has got him blocked, but Mel Bird's coming on a blitz. Walks right into the play.
A further loss for the Stampeders. Now they will be punting from their end zone. Glenn Harper. Again, the wind seems to have disappeared. Otherwise, this would be a tough job for Harper to punt it out of his end zone. He gets pretty good distance. Here's Crawford. Stampeders deny him the sidelines and take him down. There's the football. Somebody else's arm.
He had the ball stripped and it bounced back into Nelson Martin's arm.
Holding. BC number 4.
Holding on to the football, maybe. But
Nelson Martin. Brought down by
Nelson
Pearson.
Martin caught for holding. And it came up with the football at the same time when Crawford had it stripped on that return.
Boy, it's tough to have a punt in this league anymore without a penalty, isn't it? It's not no yards. It's an illegal block or a hold.
Holding called against the Lions.
Nelson Martin down the three-point stance. He's on Matt Finley, number 37. You can butt him and push him back and try to control him with your hands, but don't grab the shirt.
Back at the 50-yard line of the Lions, DeWalt has been getting good time all day. Carinci with a catch to the 35-yard line, and the absence of a pass rush is really hurting Calgary today.
Yes, when you're giving Roy DeWalt time to throw the football as he's helped up there by John Blaine. He's going to be hit after, but he'll stand in there. The good quarterbacks know they're going to get hit most of the time. You just keep your fingers crossed when you're going to the ground that it's a completed pass.
Well, that hit affects him, but it doesn't affect the play. He had plenty of time to get that pass off, throw it right where he wanted, and make an excellent pass. From the Calgary 35, DeWalt for Sims. And one man is not bringing Freddie Sims down today. One man that time was Larry Hogan. He's mad at himself that he couldn't make the tackle.
The BC Lions are running in some interesting situations, taking advantage of the middle of the field. If it's not Carinci or Pankratz up the middle in an area, it's the running backs coming underneath. You see Bernie Morrison trying to run to catch up to Sims. Morrison has to drop back. Sims has the luxury of stepping up and releasing from the inside of the line. So he already has a head start on the linebacker.
Not quite a first down. Flag comes down as Sims drives for yardage. Freddie Sims' total yardage today is well over 100. He saw 66 rushing, and he's got about that much.
Offside, Calgary number 95.
Sims on the carry, but the stance for offside.
Lamont Jeffers, who's been an important factor in the success of this defense for the Stampeders, must have lined up offside.
$12. Great seats at great prices from Calgary Co-op.
Carl Folger started a game against the Toronto Argonauts earlier this season, and most of those stats are from that game, which wasn't a very successful one for him. First down, Lions at the Calgary 20, again over the middle of Sims to the 11, 12-yard line.
Again, he comes out of the backfield. I mean, great success with this play. If they're not going to bring some linebackers, one way they can tie him up in the backfield is man him if he goes out of the backfield, but blitz a linebacker so he stays in and blocks. Good way to eliminate one receiver.
Well, the Lions weren't moving the ball in the first half, and suddenly in this third quarter, everything they're doing is working. So you would immediately think that some adjustments were made at halftime. Sims spins off a tackler and goes for the first down inside the 10.
Rick Warman has a warm-up jacket on. He'd have that on anyways because of the cool conditions to keep that arm warm, but you really have to wonder how that knee is reacting after cooling off in the dressing room, tightening up possibly on him, and now standing on the sidelines for the length of this drive.
First and goal, Lions. They lead by 6. Sims with blockers. for a touchdown. He's the star of this game. There's no doubt about it. From the University of Oklahoma, the USFL, and he's been around the CFL a while, but really hasn't played many games. He'll play a lot more if he keeps playing like this.
Well, if they can get to the outside with that kind of success, he doesn't even open up right here to run full speed. He's setting up his blockers. Krause is in front of him. Tim Berman's in front of him. They just cut off the pursuit. He runs to the corner of the end zone.
No touchdowns in 30 minutes of football, and now in less than 10 minutes of this third quarter, the Lions have scored 2 majors and have taken a lead that Bissaglia's convert makes 19-6 in favor of BC Lions. Freddie Sims has scored both touchdowns.
The Lions, 19, the Stampeders.
It's a very different game in this third quarter, and a good game for the BC Lions and running back Freddie Sims. Pearson bringing it back for the Stampeders. They deny him the 40-yard line.
A great deal of Sims' success, or any running back success, comes from the success of the front five, their offensive linemen. Neutralize, come up, and you see Sinclair pop off the line of scrimmage, knock Hallman back, Dan Hurley, John Blaine, they're all controlling that line of scrimmage, not allowing the defensive line to pursue, to take any cutoff angles. He deserves a lot of credit, but the big fellas up front are who make the holes.
First down from close to the 40-yard line for the Stampeders. They'll try to get some rush back in their offense with Gary Allen. After a lot of injuries on that BC offensive line, the only newcomer, so-called, and he is very much a newcomer, is Tim Burnham at the left guard. But otherwise, everybody's back in their normal spots. And Burnham is playing for Gerald Roper, who underwent knee surgery and is out for the season.
That's unfortunate because Roper was playing very well. They were lucky to get Burnham. He played 3 replacement games in Seattle this year, and they just made the emergency call and got him here in time.
Draw play for the Stampeders. Allen is taken down and won't get the first down. The Toaster got him. It's Tim Petrus, rather, making the tackle. Brett Toaster Williams.
Well, the Toaster came into this game with a bad taste in his mouth. He said the last time they played the Stampeders, they were laughing, and every time they'd make a block on him and hold him, they'd laugh in his face, and a little bit of revenge coming into this contest. And he's too good to be laughing at. I think when you get a good team down like that, you should stay quiet. Why give them another reason to get mad?
Here's Larry, third down gamble. Kuharek going for it with the Stampeders lacking momentum in this game. They don't have the first down. The Lions have stopped them.
Into the backfield.
Kuharek felt that they just couldn't put the ball back into BC's hands the way this game was going, but they've done that without a kick.
Made the stop.
They will measure, but I don't think there's any way that the first down has been made.
Well, interesting where Allen dives ahead just as Jackson pulls him down. What kind of spot they got?
Family Fun Zone tickets are available at all Calgary bases.
Not good enough. Jackson makes the big play, and you can hear him hooting. One of the few times the gamble has not paid off for head coach Larry Kuharek.
Well, it's part of his philosophy, and obviously you're not going to make them all. So if you believe in gambling on third down, you must be able to accept the ones that don't work, and this is one of them. Nice little toss from DeWalt to Ray Krause as Krause goes to the 41-yard line within 2 yards of a first down. And that's the 8th straight completion for Roy DeWalt.
Good look at Glenn Jackson's played so well in that outside linebacking spot for the BC Lions. He might even go back when they wore black helmets.
Turn to the left from Chrysler on page 24 of your game program. The holder of program number 21312 wins a Coke Sports Bag. Please
Kuharek with that offense, huddling them up.
Main office to claim your prize.
Well, the defense has to take charge now, and Roy DeWalt is going to throw on 2nd and 2. Escaped one tackler, fires incomplete.
DeWalt's pass intended for Ray Krause. Incomplete.
Roy DeWalt taking charge. That last play, the screen pass, he had to try to get the ball between 2 rushers. This time spins around. Again, that toe isn't bothering him as they're going to go for, looks like a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 almost. Calgary's turn to respond defensively now.
Well, it's a little easier for BC to gamble. They're in Calgary territory, and they've got a suddenly sizable lead of 13 points. They want to keep going now. Some whistles blow, although there is no flag attached to this whistle.
Re-spotted the football back on the yard line.
3rd and 2 Lions. Freddie Sims has the first down, lost the ball, and the Stampeders get it back. Sims had enough yardage but didn't hold on to the football. So 2 third down gambles don't work on each side, and the Stampeders try to get things moving, trailing by 13. Stampeders with the ball. If there's been a rap against Freddie Sims in his career, this is it.
Well, the ball's in the right hand. It should be in the left hand, carrying inside. Harold Hallman strips the ball loose. Vince Goldsmith comes up with the loose one.
Opportunity now for the Stampeders. Warman's first pass of the game. No, it isn't. Of the third quarter, rather. They haven't had the ball enough for him to do very much, but he has not thrown a pass yet in the second half. And that BC blitz was full, complete, and effective.
Well, I'll tell you, it was full and complete. It looked like Gary Allen tried to get a little bit early. He could have bumped Stu and slowed him down somewhat to give Warman a better chance to set up. He didn't have a prayer on that play. Vince Goldsmith going through a few pair of gloves this afternoon.
Larry Kuharich said he felt in looking at films of BC's game last week against Hamilton that the Lions were blitzing even more under Larry Donovan than Don Matthews. That seemed impossible because they're known as a heavy blitz team. Warman fires, and that pass is dropped. Should have been caught by Pearson, but he dropped the pass.
Well, Pearson hasn't had many opportunities to catch the football, but when it's thrown to you, you have to make the catch, and then you know the quarterback will go back to you. It's Glenn Jackson on his back. Takes that little rocker step back as if he's going to drop back, and then comes full blast. Rob Smith doesn't get a chance to knock him out. Seemed innocent, just right elbow going into the turf. You talked about blitzing. A lot of people, including us in the meeting, thought it was linebackers. When we talk about BC blitzing, more the halfbacks than anything else.
With the score, BC 19 and Calgary 6. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations from coast to coast to identify themselves. You're watching the Canadian Football Network. Glenn Jackson is okay, walking off the field, and Glenn Harper will be punting for the Calgary Stampeders. Just haven't been able to establish anything offensively today. What the Lions have been able to establish is Freddie Sims. Harper got a decent bounce on the punt. Crawford is taken out of bounds by
36 yards.
Lamont Jeffers.
Harper. Crawford gets 8 yards on the return. The Lions was
Larry Crawford's had quite a year. Done a good job controlling him. As Larry Kuharich, Rick Johnson there with the hat and the headphones, have to get some offense going. Can't keep putting the ball back in the hands of the BC Lions.
Lions at the Stampeder 52. It's been a big third quarter for BC. DeWalt to Pankratz. Out of bounds with a first down at the 40-yard line. You know, we'll never know whether the Lions would have won last week or this week with Don Matthews as coach. But it can be said that this is a different-looking BC team, certainly on offense. This is, I think, the crispest attack, although it's taken a couple quarters to get it working this well, that we've seen in a long time from BC.
The crispness in the passing game comes from being able to control the ball and running the football. Threw that high and long, and Sandusky didn't even bother going after it because he knew it was going out of bounds. Second down. Well, you've got to go for that balance on offense, and I think Larry Donovan emphasized that today. He said, we have to have a package on offense. We just can't go out and expect to throw the ball deep to Sandusky all the time. It's not that easy. We have to help our offensive line. We have to be complete as an offensive team.
Second and 10, it looked as though Calgary came a little fast, or the Lions were perhaps slow moving off the ball. Incompletion, and it'll be third down with the opportunity for Pasaglia to try a field goal.
This week, I think, for the BC Lions, the practice was a little bit more physical. Britt Williams had mentioned that there was some hitting in practice, a little bit more than they had in the past. Said it helped make them forget, or helped them forget about what had been going on outside of football, got their heads back into the game of football.
This one is good by Louis Pasaglia, and it adds to the BC Lions lead. He now needs 5 field goals to tie Dave Cutler's CFL record of 50.
22, Stampeders 6.
Now, how do you treat a record like that? Then when Dave Cutler established it, well, he goes far enough back that there could have been only 10 games in the league at that time, but when there were 16 games played, Louis will have 18. Will he do it before the 16th game?
Well, he better do it today.
I'd say so.
Rick Warman, first down Calgary, 35-yard line. Pasaglia has today set a BC club record for field goals, and Warman is down again as that Lion defense just keeps coming, and he just keeps getting chipped and nicked, and he's not going to feel very well at the end of this game if he finishes this game. He just keeps getting up and looks as though he's going to fall back down.
Well, he is looking in tough shape. Pressure right there from John Ulmer and Brett the Toaster Williams. Seems like the BC defense is just literally sucking the enthusiasm and the will out of the offense of the Calgary Stampeders. They're getting stronger and stronger as this quarter comes to an end after this play.
Warman has it picked off by John Ulmer in the middle. And Ulmer can run. He's a big man with speed. He goes down. The ball, I think, is on the ground when the fumble is made. And the whistle does bring the play to a halt. Larry Crawford pulls up lame. All sorts of things happening here in the stands as well. The Lions in command after 3 quarters.
Hi, Mom. Hi, G. Hi, Dad. Hi, everybody.
John Ulmer saying hi, Dad, means Ed Ulmer, and the BC Lions have their second interception of the game and a scoring opportunity, first down from the Calgary 32-yard line. Freddie Sims adding to his rushing yardage into the 29.
Hopkins made the tackle after a gain of 2.
Now it's time to really take control of the game. I think if the Lions are going to run away with, well, not run away with it, but take it away from them, they're going to do it now. And Sims isn't having a bad afternoon.
And the receivers are making no mistake. Jan Carinci brings it down close to a first down.
Very close to 8 yards.
Well, Carinci from the inside is going to work inside out. Runs just a straight out pattern, but again, as you said, Roy DeWalt's putting the ball on the money.
Stampeders wish to thank the Calgary Sun for their support again this year with a Stampeder Sunshine cheerleaders.
Rick Warman on the sidelines. Carl Foder is the backup, and the way Warman is having trouble moving the ball and moving his body around out there, we might see Foder today. DeWalt is taken down. Flag comes down as well, as holding is the likely indication.
There are flags down.
Ian Sinclair, the man at center who passes the ball to Roy DeWalt, was caught holding there as Carl Foder warms up. Most people don't know that. They know he's a runner, a scrambler, but he's a pretty impressive passer at Marshall University. Holds all the passing records there, so he can get the job done. It's whether he's got the experience, and we know he hasn't got that.
Despite the sack, the Stampeders decided to accept the penalty and move the Lions back to the 32-yard line. First down repeated, 20 yards to go for the Lions. 20.
DeWalt complete to Byron Williams.
Williams and Sandusky have been a little bit quiet today. The outside corners, McCrary and Hopkins, have been doing a good job really limiting their progress downfield, getting open in patterns. Just the simple curl back ins of all they've been successful in. The damage has been done with by Sims and the inside receivers, and more so Carici.
CFL All-Star Team ballot.
Second down, they need almost 9 for a first down on the draw. This is Sims. He is out of bounds at the 4-yard line with another first down, more yardage. Freddie Sims. What a 1987 CFL debut he's had today.
Receiving congratulations from John Blaine. You know, the defense doesn't do a bad job right here. They're close off. See Green move in. They're making Sims run wide, closing the inside hole. But now they have to have support from their defensive backs. They have to come up and close down the outside. The reason it didn't happen, Carici goes down and throws a nice block, allows him to get around the corner.
He played one CFL game last season for Calgary against BC. This is his first game this season for BC and very much against Calgary, as Sims is playing a major role in what appears to be a BC victory.
Well, they certainly have accomplished what they set out they were going to do and made it known to everyone that we're going to try to control the football. They felt and they knew they had to run it. They have done that today with great success.
Well, DeWalt really hasn't been bothered throwing the ball, and Sims running is part of that. Second down, 2 yards to go. Fumbled ball from the snap, and it stays right there, making it third down.
Recovers himself.
Well, the relay between the center and quarterback weren't as smooth as they obviously had wanted, because Roy DeWalt seemed to have pulled out a little bit early, but a smart move. He gets back on it. He's out. He's ready to turn around and give the ball to Sims one more time. When it's on the ground, don't try to pick it up, just try to cover it. And that's frustrating for a quarterback. That was, you know, it's how many times has he done that this year?
The BC Lions had gambled 3rd and 2 earlier. Now they're 3rd and 2 from the 2, but with a lead like they've got, they will settle for 3 points and build the lead to a 19-point margin. Sag, no mistake. With 11:02 left in the fourth quarter, the BC Lions lead. The Lions have reeled off 20 straight points, as yet unanswered by Calgary in this second half. It was 6-5 Stampeders at halftime. Warman is still in there, and still having trouble. Well, I think it's about time to take him out for his own well-being, and he's not getting any yardage anyway.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to jeopardize his health. He's having a heck of a time on that leg. They're coming after him. Ulmer from the middle linebacking spot's blitzing. Rob Smith had his hands full with Brett Williams. I think it's time to make sure he's safe. Get him out of the game.
Carl Fodor, a different style of quarterback. He likes to sprint out, runs, much better runner than Rick Warman, faster certainly. But it's a little late to have the quarterback running for yardage against the Lions with a 19-point lead. Fodor does throw it downfield, but throws it out of bounds, intending it for Larry Willis. Both Willis and Tolbert had 100 yards plus in the 34-6 victory at BC Place Stadium. And basically, there was one big catch by Willis early in the game, but basically they've been shut off today.
Oh, they have. The secondary of the Lions look like they have earlier on in the season. You know, they feel they're the best group of athletes in the CFL, and they can cover anybody one-on-one, and they do that a lot because they blitz a lot.
Harper, very low punt. Bounce right to the arms of Crawford. And he goes down just inside his 35-yard line. 9:48 remaining, and the Lions appear on their way to a victory.
2 yards on the return.
Earlier today, Gizmo Williams returned another punt for a touchdown, and this one topped all the others. 110 yards. Edmonton beat Winnipeg soundly, and the Eskimos are first in the West. They might be tied by BC in about half an hour, and then they'll go in a first-place showdown next Sunday on CFN. Join us for that one. Lions and Eskimos. Freddie Sims is going to have very impressive statistics after this game is over, and the Eskimos can already start planning to stop him because you know he's going to be in the lineup again next week.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. They will try to do the same thing they have done today, establish that running attack to let Roy DeWalt do his thing. But the Eskimos, the big victory today, scored on every possible chance. Interception by Bass, the Gizmo Williams, and a few touchdowns by Milson Jones. They look good against Winnipeg.
Here he comes again. Freddie Sims first down over the 50-yard line. And there have been some attempts to tackle him that have failed miserably. Sims gets part of the credit for that, certainly, because of the way he is running. It's just not possible to tackle him with an arm or one little shot. He needs 2 or 3 tacklers to bring him down most of this day.
Well, they say give a good running back or get him by the line of scrimmage, and if everyone else is putting a hat on someone else, then he can make some yards, and he certainly has done that today.
He was going to get another chance to run before the whistle blew.
Time count violation, BC number 9.
Turn to the
leading rushing performance, single game performance in the league this season
program number 20999
is,
wins the Molson
help me out
Sports
here.
Please present
Sure,
your
got the horn ready to go ta-da when you get it.
I'm sure it's Willard Reeves.
Winning number 20999.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
I think he was close to 200 yards. Freddie Sims does it again. Willard Reeves rushed for 186 yards against Saskatchewan in late August.
Sims brought down by Hull and Morrison.
Sims has a way to go to get that, but if they keep feeding him the football, Lamont Jeffers up the field, trying to, that last shot right there.
Feels like a ticket application for the
Pat Clayton, Stampeder athletic therapist, is out taking a look.
Now that we've told you what the best this season is, 186, we'll give you an up-to-date list of Freddie Sims. He's at 134, so about 50 yards away from what Willard Reeves was able to do against Saskatchewan.
A lot of Sims' yardage today has been tough going, too. It's not as if he's been able to run untouched in a lot of plays. He's been pounding some people down, taking the short route straight up the field as we look at the Lions assistant coaches.
Larry Donovan used to be in that group. Now he's above that group, I guess you'd say, and the same for Larry Kuharek, formerly a Calgary assistant, now the head coach. Both have been very successful. Donovan much more so today. Here's Freddie Sims catching a pass and running with it into the 44-yard line.
Well, when you got a quarterback that can turn a bad situation into a good one, as DeWalt did right there, that's when you know you've got a good opportunity to turn small plays into big plays. Just a quick fake, but the pressure from Vince Goldsmith. Sidearm and a little bit of a ballet move to swing around there.
Freddie Sims over 200 yards rushing and receiving. The Stampeders as a team are below 200 yards.
He's got to be getting a little bit pooped now.
Well, I can tell you what the most times carried is this season without hesitation.
What is that?
26 by Willard Reeves against the Ottawa Rough Riders. So let's find out how many times Freddie Sims has carried the ball.
Carries for a couple. Second and 8.
He's carried the ball 22 times, so he's closing in on that mark by Willard Reeves. One on the run, he'll keep it. Took a hit for his decision.
DeWalt carries for 5.
Well, he's never been afraid to get downfield. Not as active a runner as he was when he was a little bit younger, but who of us, not too many of us are. Sims throws a good block to the right side, takes a fake, good block out front. Thrown by Tim Vernon.
Denny Andrews American Bar invites you to
You just got to get down to the ground.
Well, DeWalt can certainly run if he wants to. It's just that he is not choosing to run as often, and protecting himself is the reason for that. He was a great runner. I think we can still call him a good runner.
Oh, I think he was originally drafted by the Cleveland Browns as a running back. You have to wonder if we'll see Conrad Holloway in this fourth quarter. Give him some playing time.
Saglia punts the ball to the end zone, and the Stampeders bring it out. Somewhat surprising that would be the decision. Hall. Lions 25, Stampeders 6, 5.5 minutes left. Rich Holloway all bundled up. He'll have to remove some of that if he's to get into this game. The Stampeders need 3 touchdowns to win this. Whether that single point had been conceded or not, so I'm not sure why Richie Hall brought the ball out of the end zone to the 5-yard line. Carl Foder stays in the game, completes a pass to Larry Willis, who waits for some blocking help. Gets some more yardage and gets out of bounds.
Complete to Larry Willis.
Well, Carl Foder under fire right there. He had to stand in there, release the football. A lot of pressure coming from middle linebacker John Ulmer. A man that Larry Donovan said it's time for him to perform.
The Stampeders have just made their first down of the second half. So while the Lions have controlled the ball and moved it almost at will, the Stampeders haven't had it very much and haven't moved the sticks at all until right now.
Tickets to this exciting event.
Here comes the blitz, and Foder doesn't get the ball away. It pops out of his hands. And it is in BC's possession. Another turnover as Carl Foder was really blasted from the blind side.
Yeah, he was pretty well rocked, wasn't he? Didn't get the opportunity to see what was going on behind him in the backside. Glenn Jackson, another big play. He's had an outstanding game. He's always around the football. You see them coming. Ulmer comes almost clean. Jackson comes from the middle. The hit is put on by Stuman. But when you're bringing everyone like that, there can be some miscommunication on the line. That's when somebody comes free.
Following this game, we will be selecting Freddie Sims as the Canada Lease MVP. Canada Lease, a public company providing leadership in the world of high technology and capital equipment leasing. Canada Lease makes your money work better for you. I guess we just lost anybody that was staying with us to find out who the MVP was. Here he is. Harming is caused somewhat with another fumble.
Freddie Sims fumbles on the play for the
You cursed him.
The information couldn't have been
recovered
received by him that fast.
Sims going wide. Kraus and Hurley leading him as far as blockers. Harold Hallman, he's the one that caused the fumble in the short yardage. He wrapped him around the neck, and then that right arm came around and slapped the ball free. Matt Finley comes up with the loose ball. Calgary ball on their 16-yard line.
Foder's fumble, followed by Sims' fumble, followed by an incompletion. Carl Foder having the ball knocked down just after it left his hand.
Well, a young quarterback. A defensive theory about that, when you have a quarterback that hasn't seen a lot in play as far as on-field activity, blitzes, and different stunts that defense are going to do, you might as well show them now, and that's what they're trying to do. They're bringing everyone.
The bad news for Calgary is that this game probably means they won't finish higher than third place. There's still a mathematical possibility, but it's very unlikely that the Stampeders will be at home for a playoff game. The good news might be, though, that they get a chance to concentrate on the playoff game. Foder is rushed again, gets away from 2 men, throws the ball out of bounds and incomplete. In the next 2 weeks, they play the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The games don't mean anything to Hamilton, and they don't mean anything to the Stampeders, or probably not, except as playoff preparations. And that's not necessarily a bad situation to be in. You'd like to finish higher, but they don't have to knock themselves out now in the next couple of weeks.
No, not at all. We saw Melvin Bird try to get his first sack of the year, but what concern me is Rick Warman.
Yep.
I mean, this pressure that Foder is feeling right now, what Warman had to put up with almost for 2.5 quarters, can he or is he going to be healthy enough to come back and finish the year for him?
Well, if he's not healthy enough to play next week, they don't have to play him next week. But if they were in a first or second place battle, Warman would be in there if at all possible. Now they can be conservative. Larry Crawford running back to punt near the 40-yard line.
Punt by Glenn Harper.
20-yard return by Crawford, who's the second best in the league at that this season. There's no doubt Gizmo Williams gets the all-star nod as far as punt returning. It'll be DeWalt all the way, I guess, as Holloway stays on the sideline.
Well, it'll probably take Holloway an hour to warm up, as cold as it's been today.
Tony Pearson, I believe, the injured Calgary Stampeder, as we halt play with 3:16 remaining.
Rick Johnson trying to help out Carl Fodor wherever he can, what to look for. Johnson's seen most or a lot of things that BC that can throw at him defensively. Trying to give him a hand.
Next week, we'll see BC at Edmonton, and the game is for first place. The winner of next week's game could still lose first place, but you figure that the winner in Edmonton next week is going to be the team that finishes first, and the Eskimos want first place, so the Western Final can be outdoors. The Lions want first place, so the Western Final can be indoors. It's just that simple. And it does mean a lot to both of these teams. Home field. Ray Krause spells off Freddie Sims with the football. 2:52 left. The Lions marching back to a first-place tie with it. Well, they hoped for a crowd of much more than 25,000 today. They had that many seats sold yesterday. The weather around noon probably didn't help as it began to go from good to bad very fast, and now the fans who came to cheer a Calgary victory are starting to leave. Ray Krause, good move at the line, and another good move as he dances into the 27-yard line.
Well, with Krause moving to the halfback spot, taking Sims' spot, Kevin Dixon, number 35, will be in the fullback. It's a big fullback, 235, 240. Great cutback right here. Green thinks he has him. Just a little bit of a swerve move, gets straight upfield.
Put the ball down at the 27. It is first down BC, and ball control has been the name of the game for the Lions today. Krause again. To about the 22.
Krause will welcome the opportunity to get his hands on the football. He hasn't seen it much today. Even if it's at the end of the game, he doesn't care how many points they're ahead and how much time. If he can run with the football, running backs love to get it.
Larry Donovan doesn't seem to be calmed down yet. Playing it right to the end, and the Lions are too on the field. Second down from the 21, second down and 4. Krause took a lick and just kept on running. And that's what he and Freddie Sims have done all day long. It's been a tough day on that Calgary defense. And as a result, a pretty easy day for quarterback Roy DeWalt. He hasn't had much physical punishment at all.
No, he's taken a couple of shots and been put down, but that great pop right there just straightened him up. Greg Peterson comes up. Good job on the left side of the offensive line. Tim Burnham, Jim Mills, and Ian Sinclair doing a great job of opening up gaping holes. As all Kuharich can do is look.
Larry Kuharich is getting a bit of a reputation as a coach who disdains the traditional handshake with the opposing coach following games. He says it's just not a tradition that he really believes in, though there's nothing against talking to another coach if the other coach should come to him, or on occasion he will decide to go over if he has been beaten, and if he admires the way the team has beaten him, he'll go over and congratulate an opposing coach in that respect, but mostly he doesn't do it. We'll have to wait and see if he does today. He did say he talked to Mike Riley after a game that we did, a 40-5 Winnipeg beating of the Stampeders. But otherwise, it's straight to the dressing room, much like Billy Smith has made famous in hockey. He just doesn't shake hands with anybody, and Kuharich would rather not.
Well, if you got nothing to say to a guy, no sense in hanging around, I suppose.
Next week's CFL schedule, Ottawa, Saskatchewan, is, need you be reminded, a meeting of last-place teams. BC at Edmonton, a meeting of two first-place teams who share first place in the West. We really look forward to that game at Commonwealth Stadium. Neil has promised to get the weather just as good as it can possibly be in Edmonton. Ray Krause charges over for the touchdown, almost at will now. The Lions are running through the Stampeder defense, and Ray Krause grabs a share of the headlines with Freddie Sims.
Well, that Calgary defense has been on the field a lot, and they've had their hands full. It's a perfect example, just ripping up through there, not being stopped, and having that desire to get over the goal line. Larry Hogue wasn't going to be the man to stop him. I guess, you know, Kuharek has mentioned all year, one thing we wanted to change is win the battles along the offense and defensive line, and I think that battle was lost today on the defensive line. The BC Lions are to be commended. They've done a good job of turning around and focusing themselves on what I think may have been the most important game of the season for them this afternoon.
Well, there's no doubt. It looks as though they'll be second, if not first, in the CFL West, and if they lost today, I think they'd probably have finished third. And this is almost a reverse of the last meeting 2 weeks ago when Calgary won 34-6. It is now BC 32-6 over Calgary, and look at that rushing total. Talk about balance in the offense. There's proof that the Lions have had all the balance you'd ever want today.
Balance and eating the clock up, ball control. It's one thing to get big plays and strike quickly and long passing plays, but to control the football and keep it away from the opposing team's offense, that's just as important. I think Kuharek has to look at this as, well, doesn't take a step back. He stood still. You know, 6-1, his record coming into this game. Like I said, I don't think he's happy with it, but I don't think he'll let it bother him too much. Look forward to next week when they play the Tiger Cats.
Well, if he should happen to get to a playoff game against BC, he has this as proof that he better be prepared to defend the run, which the Stampeders haven't been able to do today. On the return, Andy McVeigh from the University of Toronto. McVeigh in the open field is in a foot race with Pasaglia, and Andy McVeigh is hauled down by a speedier Mel Bird, but he did a pretty good job to get all of that yardage. Not noted as a speedback, more a fullback. Made you proud, didn't he?
Well, I'll tell you, and some smart running too. He brings it back to the one side. Really, this was seeing him return kickoffs in the preseason is really what made the coaches, or he made the coaches aware that he can run with the football. He's just falling, and now he make the cut right there. Go back. Now they're going to have to chase him. He thinks he only has to outrun Louis Pasaglia to the corner, and then out of nowhere, Mel Bird. That's frustrating. That's a great run back. A little bit of face mask there too.
84 yards for Andy McVeigh to the BC 5-yard line. He'll need some time to get his breath on the sidelines. Replaced in the backfield by Tim Petras. Gary Allen takes the handoff to the 2.
Now he's caught his breath. Put him back into the offense. Let him score the touchdown.
It would be Calgary's first touchdown of the game, and obviously too late to make much of a difference. It should be said that the Lions, with this point margin in the victory, will finish ahead of Calgary should the two teams happen to wind up in a tie at the end of the season. The only way that can happen is if BC loses its remaining 2 games and Calgary beats Hamilton twice. The Lions would still finish ahead of the Stampeders as they get into the end zone. Calgary Stampeders break the touchdown goose egg, and now here we've got some
they're going to duke it out a little bit.
Rough stuff occurring. So the short way to say what I just said is that the Lions can finish no worse than second place in the CFL West, and the Stampeders can finish no higher than third.
Well, if you pulled out all the statistics of professional and college football teams that play their home games in a dome, they're not as obviously as successful as you just see a quick fake to Gary Allen on a bootleg. Little arm over action there to get into the end zone.
Stampeders weren't too pleased at the hit on Fodor after he got into the end zone. He is now trying for a 2-point convert, and that is knocked away by Andre Francis, who has had a big game in that secondary for BC.
Flag on the play.
Holding. Calgary decline.
Holding against the Stamps decline.
Well, they've had a tough time slowing down that rush.
So with 49
Even on that play, Fodor really didn't have an opportunity to look into the end zone and pick out a receiver.
The Stampeders 4.
And the horse gets a chance to stretch it out one time this afternoon.
The horse had probably figured he'd been scratched from today's event, but does get a chance to gallop at the end with only 49 seconds remaining.
I've seen a guy pull a hamstring like that.
Again, it's 20 points for the Eskimos after their victory over Winnipeg and 20 points for the BC Lions after this victory over Calgary. 2 games remaining for each team. The Eskimos and the Lions will play each other once. And that should decide first place, though that's not absolutely necessary. They try the short kickoff. Lions field it, take the ball at the Stampeder 49, and BC will just be happy to run out the clock and take this victory, a 20-point victory at this moment.
The Calgary 48-yard line.
The Lions have what they call their hands team on, all the receivers, linebackers that are used to being around the football, but good job of the front line of the kickoff return team going down, not worrying about the football, but worrying about knocking a Stampeder down to allow somebody to catch it without anybody around him.
Roy DeWalt waves some BC replacement players out of the huddle. Good thing, or they'd have had about 15 in there. And Krause carries. Sims is not one of them in the huddle. He is finished for the day, I guess. Found out he won the MVP and promptly fumbled the ball and didn't play anymore.
Actually make it a gain of 7.
Clock is moving. The Lions moving into a first-place tie with Edmonton. They only played once previously this season. There are some quirks in this schedule, obviously, because Montreal bowed out after the first game of the season had been played by Calgary and Saskatchewan. And in an earlier meeting, BC won over Edmonton 26-18. That was at BC Place Stadium. The Lions haven't visited Commonwealth Stadium yet.
Well, you have to wonder as the season does wind down. I know the Eskimos would like to get the Lions and have that final game played at Commonwealth Stadium. Get the fellas who are used to playing inside out in the cold, see how they respond.
Clock winds down. It's ticking at 5-4, and Roy DeWalt will let it run all the way before snapping this ball. That'll do it. Well, here we go again. Larry Kuharek isn't talking to anybody, but might have to the Lions win by 20 points. It is one of the biggest games of the season in the West Division. BC at Edmonton, Sunday at 4 Eastern Time. The Lions know what they have to do to get ready for Edmonton. I guess the first thing is to work on punt coverage and make sure Gizmo Williams doesn't do to them what he did to Winnipeg today. And Brian Kelly is another player that you must worry about with Edmonton. It looked as though Matt Dunnigan had his game back together today, and you get some credit for that.
Well, that's what I hear. Matt Dunnigan and I had a little talk after the last game. CFN did that game where they lost and were pretty well handled by the Saskatchewan team a week ago. They felt they had to make some changes emotionally in the football team. Guys were just showing up and playing games. Some guys were late for meetings. When that starts to happen in a football team, it's almost like a cancer. You've got to stop it. You go out there to do one thing, it's your business. Play football, be successful. That's what you concentrate on.
We'll put an Edmonton sweater on you then next week to keep you warm if if no other reason. British Columbia Lions, Edmonton Eskimos. We really think this will be one to watch, and we hope you're with us next Sunday from Commonwealth Stadium. The Lions and the Eskimos tied for first place after today's results. Today's result here, BC 32 and Calgary 12. This game is protected by copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or exhibition in whole or in part without express written consent of the Canadian Football Network and the CFL is strictly prohibited.